It's a very delicate balance when you talk about the Texans' O-line and Deshaun Watson,
Yeah.
because Deshaun Watson, while he's very good and capable of the spectacular, may be one of those quarterbacks. And as the track record increases, we'll see. He may be one of those quarterbacks that always makes his offensive line not look quite as good as it can be, because he has a tendency to move when he doesn't need to. Now, the result of that movement can be phenomenal plays, as we know. But I thought the O-line got better. And I think when they get Titus Howard back and he sort of settled in at right tackle, Sharping, the rookie a year ago, settled in at guard. Tunsil's a good player. I think this is an improving offensive line, and I'm going to be fascinated to see how it kind of all plays out, given the way Deshaun Watson plays.
Greg, they're all about downfield throws here in Houston, right?
Well, it's a mix, John. Yes, they are, but they also are in empty sets a high percentage of the time relative to other teams. So when you're an empty, obviously you're not throwing the ball deep down the field because protection can be an issue. So they mix and match quite a bit. Bill O'Brien has always been a big empty coach. He spends a lot of time in empty, a lot of time working on protections out of empty sets. So they're a mix of trying to get the ball deep down the field without question. They're vertical, but they also will line up an empty and try to pepper you with a quick passing game.
When you really look at the way that their offense is going to be structured over the years, you've got the Cooks contract. They inherited that. They didn't even ask him to take a pay cut. You've got Stills, who probably is not going to be around for a long time, opposite. Then you've got Cobb, and then you've got Fuller. So between the four of them, for at least this season, John, they're loaded. Then Coulter is a little bit more raw. He could run, but receiver coaches tell me he's way down the line, needs to major development. So dynasty leagues, that's a guy you want to take a look at. But I'll tell you what, John, you're right, though. When you started this, their downfield offense, when they decide they're going to use it, how many teams can line up Cooks against Cooks, Steele, and Fuller and have corners that could run with those guys? There's a running joke about O'Brien that he does just enough to keep his job every year. And he took over personnel really 2 years ago, not last year. People didn't realize he was actually making decisions. And he's just trying to he doesn't seem to care about draft picks. He cares about putting together a collection of players, particularly in offense. And if you look at it now, if David Johnson has anything left with those receivers, they're not terrible tight end. I mean, it's more possession. They don't run real well. Although Akins can, but he needs further development. Offensively, they could be fantastic, and as Greg outlined earlier, this offensive line could be pretty solid.
Yeah, I think if you're going to take DJ in a redraft league this year, you're just banking on volume, right? Like Carlos Hyde last year quietly ran for 1,000 yards and had 6 touchdowns, and we all know Carlos Hyde is just a complete zero as a pass catcher. DJ isn't. I actually went back and watched DJ's carries before he kind of fell apart last year with all the various injuries, and I honestly thought he looked fine. I mean, DJ's never been a burner. He's never had amazing bursts. He's always kind of been more of a not necessarily an inside runner, plotter type guy, but he's never been one to force a lot of missed tackles. And I thought DJ kind of looked like himself before he got hurt last year. So if he can return to like 80% of what he looked like before his injury last year, I think he can be a solid RB2